Welcome everybody to Living Consciously TV, coming to you live from our Denver, Colorado studios. We are also live on YouTube Live as well as Hangouts and at ConsciousEvolutionMedia.com. I'm your host and moderator, Coach Steve Toth, and also the founder of Conscious Evolution Media. Our theme for this evening is how to project an image of trust. And our guest this evening is Pierre Lalonde. Did I say that right?
You said it correctly.
Okay, good. And he's joining us from the beautiful, magnificent, friendly country called Canada. One of these days. Maybe, maybe not. All right, so let me also introduce the rest of the cast. We have, to the left of Pierre, we have Jamie Lerner. She's joining us from that beautiful windy city called Chicago. Welcome to the show.
Thank you. It's wonderful to be here.
It's great to have you. And then, of course, next to Pierre on the right, we have Dr. Rosie Kuhn, and she's coming to us from the state of Washington, where Jimi Hendrix was born, and nothing more needs to be said about that. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Good to have you all. So I love this theme. You know, it's about really magic. So my first question is, of course, to Pierre. I'm sure that he's a master. I mean, look at him. He is like. I feel like you're coming to us from high society, somewhere in Hollywood.
Very good.
You look awesome, and so tell us a little bit about color, and why do you feel so passionate about what you do, and what is that has to do with consciousness?
Well, it has a lot to do with consciousness. I mean, color impacts us tremendously, and a much more way than we ever thought color impacts us, and we see it every day all around us. We are aware of how certain people wear certain colors, and we have a great reaction to particular shades that they wear, and yet we also know that sometimes they will see the same color on someone else as well, and yet it doesn't quite have the same impact. But color affects us tremendously, not only in what we wear, it affects us in our environment, in the room that we are standing in. It has an effect as well. It has an effect in even as far as the just as how we actually interact with others, and as well their particular wearing certain colors affects our moods and our emotions as well. So the most fascinating part about what I'm here actually to share with you as well is I've created awareness of how we can all understand how color actually works for us, and it actually works on a universal level as well. There's a standard format of how color is reactive per person, and it's very fascinating. It really works. It's based on a lot. It's got to do with your skin color, with your skin tone, your skin pigmentation, and your eye color. And it's the reflection of how color reflects upon us that creates a message for us universally, that we actually get this message subconsciously, and yet we react universally to it. And this is the time now that we've been able to recognize this color, and I've created a system that's based on basically it's science. So what you're hearing from me tonight is not just an opinion or something that I just do random or by chance. It's actually science, and it's very fascinating to empower individuals to make them understand how color affects each one of us in our lives at a higher level.
Oh, that's awesome.
So Pierre, did you come up with this particular model of working with color? I mean, I know there are various models out there, but is this your specific model that you're talking about tonight?
Yes, it is. It is something that I've been passionate about and I have been on a quest to really understand color on a deeper level. Because I've worked all my life with color on the level where it deals with hair, it deals with cosmetics and clothing as well. So therefore, I've always paid attention to how color actually enhances a person, and based on the science of how we're all universally connected as well through a system of color that we've been brought up genetically, has been brought up as well from our ancestors and so on. We all have a sensation of color, and we can use it in our lives on many different levels. I mean, we can use color to actually improve our business. We can use color to actually improve our health. We can use color to, to improve our natural beauty, and yet to be able to simplify it and understand it on a very logical way, in a very simple mythology, it makes our lives a lot easier, and it makes it for much better interaction within one another as well, because it takes the guesswork out of really knowing, for example, what to wear, or how to present ourselves and how to project the best image, and especially an image of trust is, a lot of times is that we want to, actually everybody wants to look their best. And this is a very simple mythology, and how I've discovered it is I've studied the existing color mythology right now that have been exposed to us from, going way back to the 80s on a personal level, such as Colored by Seasons by Carol Jackson,
Yes.
and all of this. These were quite interesting because it was only a beginning of how color can impact an individual. It wasn't the answer because it wasn't specific, it wasn't precise, it was just a feel. And some were accurate, more or less, and yet, and this is one of the reasons why people have not concentrated and harnessed the system because they couldn't really analyze it in a concrete way. So having worked with taking my time and studying further and how the color science works, and how our skin has RGB tones and how it's reflective upon color, and taking it further and recognizing that our eyes actually are a whole different story, and the warmth and coolness of the combination of skin and eyes are completely different. So therefore, to balance ourselves and to balance the body, and where people are actually paying attention to you when they're speaking to you, it requires a balance between your eyes and your skin. And when you get that harmony, therefore people actually get a sense of peacefulness when they speak with you. And it is, and the ultimate word here is it's not distracting. So it's so having this color DNA system, by having this analysis done through the inside of your wrist and one eye, not only does it give you an extremely accurate guide to actually use these colors in your day-to-day life, but you also, the best part of it is you become an expert yourself. It starts with the guidance that I provide at first, but once you start to making the association of other people reacting to you consistently in a way where it's in accordance with what the message is sending, that is when you become an expert for your own awareness, and from there you can actually start recognizing it on others as well. Just because it's something is right. Sometimes you're not aware exactly what needs to be changed on, or what doesn't work that well in someone, but definitely it's the most satisfying part for me when I see someone becoming aware and really understanding it completely from start to finish.
So Pierre, would you say that color is a frequency, and people are translating this frequency, and it makes people feel in a certain way. Would you say that that's
100%. You've just blocked out here. I'm not. I missed the last phrase that you said.
pardon me?
I'm not sure if you can. Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you.
Okay.
but-
Wonderful. So the question was: would you say that that color has a frequency?
Correct.
Well, color definitely has a frequency. It holds a lot of. It holds healing qualities. I mean, it holds some. For example, it on someone that wants to. When we think of a color such as pink, pink can be quite loving on someone, and that could be quite healing. Now, pink on the same person would make that person appear very emotionally claustrophobic. So it wouldn't, on one person where it would be so healing, on another it wouldn't be so healing. Because each color can work quite differently on one person to the next. So therefore, understanding how the ideal tone and colors works for us is really important. But is there blue for everybody? Yes. Is there a green for everyone? Yes.
Okay, I have a question.
Yeah.
How do you think that we resonate with color? How do we, from the inside out, attract or become attracted to color? How exactly does that work?
Well, when we wear the color that we choose to wear, there's a universal language that's out there. So therefore, we can either use color to work to our benefit, our advantage, or sometimes it makes it difficult. It makes it a little bit harder for us to really express ourselves the way we would like to, or like I said, there's a really easy way that we can just follow a system that helps create harmony with ourselves from head to toe, and that's called authentication. And so as we also see it on others, when we are authenticated in our actual colors, we feel better because it resonates with a vibration. There's an energetic flow that flows in a circular motion that when we are authenticated in our actual colors, we feel that vibration.
Okay, so my question really is, so
Yeah.
if I feel the best in black, and that's a color that I wear all the time because I feel so good wearing it, then is it because I feel so good wearing black that I'm able to project whatever the good feeling is? Or is black actually the correct color? So how does this work?
Well, for example, let's take black for instance. If black is your color that resonates with your skin pigmentation, well then therefore black will give you a feeling of security and will also give you a look that's very glamorous. And that's what black stands for when it resonates right with you.
Okay. Okay.
Person that puts black, for example, black's one of my favorite colors. I love black. I can't wear it. I can't touch it. I've had to get rid of everything that's black in my life. Is it because I don't like it? No. It's because when I put black on, I look extremely menacing and I look very oppressive. So, and it's also, it's a very menacing look for me when I put on black, and it's also oppressive. To give you an example about that, is we can think of one person in that manner. It's Madonna. Madonna is someone who always wears black, and yet she's extremely menacing looking as well. We never see Madonna in a very glamorous sort of, way that we think of Madonna. And there's a menacing aspect to her as well as being oppressive. That is all definitely because of her skin tone color. The color actually that she wears black is deflective of her skin color. So what it actually does when we look at her is our eye is drawn away from her because it's not drawing us into her. So whenever our eye is drawn away from the subject, from the person, that is because the color is deflecting away from their skin pigment, for their skin color, and therefore we get we notice faults on someone because it becomes distracting. So the eye travels, and when the eye travels, you might look at it. We might pick up little faults if someone's complexion, and therefore we associate it with, for example, menacing and oppressive. And we can see there's in my book as well. You can see I've got some befores and afters of individuals that are authenticated and are not, and it's so clearly the message is there. And so, does she want to be that menacing? Yeah, that's her brand. That's how it works. But does it make her look the best that she could possibly look? No.
So you are saying that consciously she has chosen this color to be menacing and oppressive?
Correct.
This is a conscious branding choice for her.
Correct.
And do you think often that people consciously choose their colors and brand themselves unconsciously, or how does this all work actually?
Well, color is also we are taught to associate color with certain personalities, and we see it in a certain way that is so effective on others in such a positive way that we want to simulate it, right? We want to always love to see what's really great on television, and someone looks fabulous and creates that great impact. It's just normal nature for us to want to reproduce it. But what happens is when we try to reproduce the look of someone that is not, it's not in our authenticated color, we actually create the opposite message. So we're actually doing the exactly opposite of what we intend to do. So a lot of the system of how we work with using the color system is, it's not so much in a wrong or right way that we want to judge a system. It's more about taking responsibility of the message you're sending out when you wear them, when you surround yourself with. And it's a clear distinction of you become more in harmony, there's less distraction, and you actually feel the difference. I would love to give you some examples of what color does. We have, for example, brown. Brown, the right authenticated brown on someone is a color I wear a lot of. I'm not fond of brown. I'd rather much wear black than brown. But when I wear brown, it sends a message to my audience that I'm very dependable and reliable. So I feel that when I put it, and I get that response, whether I like it or not. Another person that's not authenticated wears brown, but they actually look like they're humorless and not as much class as one could have. It's quite a different change. And that is, again, a universal way that people are thinking. We can't change that. No matter how we intend to put the feeling of what we're going to wear, color really leads the way. It's what people notice. It's color first, is what it subconsciously works.
So I just have one more question. So when you help a client determine what is the best color for them, hi Linda, is it always the case that the color that you have chosen for them they will feel best in? Or is it possible that the color that is best for them they could not even feel good about at all?
Well, it's possible they don't like it at all, but they're still going to provide the message that color is actually reflecting off of them universally.
But that's not even authentic. How is that even possible? If I don't mean to be argumentative, but it doesn't make sense to me that you would wear a color that you don't feel good about just to project an image. Like, that's completely unauthentic.
Well,
Yep.
I guess I have an example of that because I had my colors done by someone a long time ago with one of the older systems. And she was suggesting as a power color for me something very magenta-like. And that was, let's say, 20 years ago. And there was no way that I would, like, it's like, oh my God, you know, give me tweeds and give me soft colors and, you know, the sort of just the softer look. And it was like I just totally was repelled by that sense of being in that. But the truth is, like, where I am now, that magenta is something I just love to be in, that color. I think part of it is our personality, in a sense, is how willing are we to be in our authentic, essential energy, and that, in a sense, we may not have grown into or don't yet have the capacity to fully embrace that level of empowerment and that level of authentic self. So that's just a personal example of like where I went from things
color
like that
becomes
little.
the vehicle.
That's my experience.
Yeah,
That's my experience,
that's
and many times.
Yeah, like I said, there's a color for everyone. Like, you know, there is a white for everyone. There is a blue for everyone. The one exception of color is black. There's the black. There's not a black for everyone. That is a very distinctive, you know, color that a variety of people can wear, many. And but the ones who don't reflect with the black, it just doesn't. One example for, like we said, it's not right or wrong. There's, if we speak of with our light colors, like the white, for example, someone who is more of an earth pigmentation, earth tone, or someone who's actually more of an air tone, which is both warm, and their best tones are more of an off-white than it is an actual white. For example, so the white, if someone of a warmer undertone puts on white, the image that they transcend with this is extremely uncompromising. So I have lawyers as clients that they are in a negotiating field where they need to not compromise whatsoever. So they will wear a color that is not intended for them for the sake of being uncompromising. And it actually helps their negotiation skills. So they stick to their guns and it helps seal the deal. So this is how we can use color. So, and another response to your question is the colors we wear based on our skin tone and eye color, they're undeniable. The message they actually send out, it's factual. It's based on science, and it works on your RGB tones of your skin. And that reflection, either you are either drawn into or your eye is actually being drawn away. And when the eye's away, the energy is also drawn away. And the message is universal. So it's so therefore when someone needs to make an adjustment, it's not so severe. It's not so, right? There's a certain blues that will make someone look more communicative as well as more intelligent. Then if they wear a blue that's not in their authenticated shade, it makes them look a little bit more cold, definitely cold and aloof. Sometimes being cold when you're a very gentle personality is not a bad thing, but it's to have the ability to use your emotional values of your color blocks of your wardrobe, and being able to trust it and utilize it to your extreme benefit.
So I have a question.
So hang on for a second, Pierre. So I have a really important question I want to ask you, but before I get to that, I want to formally announce Linda Dyer, who just joined us. She joined us late because where she is, it's tomorrow. And does that explain it? And she's also... I couldn't pass it up. And she also have kangaroos 24/7 roaming around her. So obviously she's joining us from Australia. Welcome to the show, Linda.
Yeah, thank you very much.
Thank you for being here. So I have this important question, and I've been kind of being with it as I was listening to everybody. So the important question I have is, I get it that it's science, but what I need you to distinguish for me, Pierre, is what's more important, how we feel in terms of what we are wearing and the colors we are wearing, and based on how we feel, don't we already... So I'm notorious to ask multiple questions, and I'm going to do it again because I just can't help myself. So do we already know, based on how we feel, based on the colors that we're wearing, what makes us feel good? Don't we already know that, and should we already trust that? Because obviously we're connected to our source, and we just know, we feel it. and it makes us feel good, isn't that important? Or is it more important to control how other people are perceiving us? And yeah, in this conversation we've been having, in this dialogue, I could see that there could be a number of instances, like when you show up on television, when you're an attorney and you go into a meeting and you want to win, you're in court. I can see that there are many instances when you go to an interview. I mean, maybe in those instances you want to get away from necessarily what makes you feel good, because you have to pay more attention to how we are being perceived and judged. So help us with that.
Okay, so definitely the ideal thing is a lot of times the colors we love, they're preconditioned with us. Sometimes it's something we've seen on someone that is really good, or we see a trend that we've got to love it. If it's on ourselves, it doesn't mean that it's actually going to send that actual message. So being aware of what actually is the message that you want to be, for example, I'll have a teenager here that his mother asked me to help him out, and this is something I wanted to talk about because it's very impactful. This is a 15-year-old kid that was being bullied in school and was wearing clothing very dramatic, and he already told his mother that his orientation is gay at 15, and he was having a lot of problems. So his mother asked me, would I have a consultation with him and have a talk about just this system of color based on the psychology of how one feels wearing and making an impact with the color you choose. So when he came in, I consulted with him, and he was wearing black and white, and all his clothing is black and white, and it so happens that when he wears black and white, he loves black and white, he loves black, but when he wears it, everybody picks on him, and it's very menacing, and it's very oppressive. He's like a walking billboard to be picked on. So I described to him some of the ideal colors that would be recommended for him, which are all pastels. They are like mint green, lavenders, soft yellows, and I said, if you really want to be outrageous, I said, which a color works for you is lavender. I said, we could do your whole head lavender. He got excited with the idea. So I said, you know what? We booked his appointment 2 weeks later for his hair color, and he got his profile on his app on his phone. So we took a photo of the inside of his wrist and one eye, and we authenticated him, and I gave him his 16 best shades for his core colors, the 16 best accent shades. A week and a half later, he came in for his appointment. When he came in, I didn't recognize him at all. I was looking at someone completely different. He was wearing a soft mint green pants. He had a pale yellow T-shirt. He looked so different, all based on color alone. And so his changing his appearance and harmony with himself has actually changed completely the way people see him. He's no longer being bullied. He's more accepted because he resonates now with the message that he intends to send out. Now, in other people's perceptions is balanced with his perception. So therefore, his grades went up. He's now a great avid helper at camps and helping others. And he thanks me every day. He's in the book as well that I wrote. But this is one example of how we sometimes think that we do our best with the knowledge that we have. But when we can have access to really make such a difference with knowing that something can impact you in a very specific way, it's worth trying it, because it's not just about taking my word for it. Like I said before the conversation, is you become the expert. You're the judge at the end of the day. You recognize you start to see the difference. It's very consistent how this works for you, and it's quite magical. Like we said, it's and it works on everybody.
Okay, so let's have some fun with this, shall we? So I'm game. I don't know if anybody else is, but you can let us know if you are or not. But starting with you, Pierre, when I first saw you when you showed up in the studio, I love the way you look. It me as somebody that knows what you're talking about, and so I immediately trust you. And you're showing up as like somebody from high society. It just made me feel really comfortable. But I would never wear that color of jacket. Never. You would not see me ever in that color of a jacket. So tell us a little bit about why you chose the colors you have chosen.
Great question. It's very simple for you, because now I don't think anymore about what I'm going to wear. I just look at the emotional values of my clothes and I put them on. And teal blue for me is communication. So therefore, when it stands for communication, I just reach for my blue, because we're going to be communicating tonight. So I definitely wanted to enhance that emotion. And I've had a long day today. It's been very busy, and I felt like a little bit tired. So the orange on me is high energy, and it's a little touch of sensuality. So so definitely, and it's fun as well. So I thought, you know what? I would like my audience to feel like I'm communicating, and I'd like to add a little bit of high energy and fun. And I think that's now on a conscious level, I've let the cat out of the bag, but subconsciously you can relate in that sense of how this is actually working with all of you. So but you said a great question at the beginning of the show. You said I hate red.
Well, yes, because of where I come from, right? And so you won't see me. I mean, you won't even see me wearing a red tie. And there are many times, I wear ties to meetings. However, if you look at the Republican thing that we just had on, the 6th or the 5th or whatever,
yes.
Almost every one of the guys that were going for the presidency wore a red tie. I mean, every one of them, and kind of the same.
For that same purpose, high energy.
So obviously, there's a reason for the red. I mean, I remember from my IBM days, a lot of times, and I used to be a consultant. Red kind of describes or makes you feel important. It makes you feel that you have power. The list goes on, right? So why don't you look at me? So my core color is blue. I love blue. You're gonna find me almost every day. I'm gonna wear blue. So what do you think about blue? I know you said it's good. What is it telling you?
So blue is communication, intelligence, and it's also serenity. So on someone else, there's a blue for everyone. So, and a blue that is not in your authenticated color will represent definitely being cold. And certain shades make you look aloof. So if we just go back for a second to this orange, from what I can see, I would have to authenticate you. You'd have to just send me a photo of your inside of your wrist and one eye, and because we don't do it. I never just do it by the eye. We have a system that we use that guarantees your results. So it's important. But what I can tell you from where I'm sitting right now, if you wore this jacket, I can tell you what everybody would feel, and it wouldn't be what I'm wearing. If I could put this jacket on you right now, the tables would be turned around, and what you would be sending in this particular shade would be very defiant. You would send a message of being very rebellious, and third, you'd be really straining to look at. So orange.
Well, that's true.
Right? So it's.
Well, I am very rebellious. Still.
But in red, there's a particular, to me it appears that a cooler, there's a different type of red for you that would definitely work, and I'll gladly provide you with what that red is, so you can have a little bit of fun and kick up your sensuality a little bit and have more fun, because because everybody needs red in their lives. Everybody. These are the three main components. The appropriate red is all about that fun and that spirit and that frequency of higher energy and even sensuality. This is why when someone goes out in the evening, you can take a total outfit that you have, and all you need to do is change your shoes, and you put the actual red that is appropriate for you on your feet, and you can actually go to any party and any fun. People will react so differently to you from just changing your shoe color, because it's what actually you wear on your feet that actually makes or breaks, you know, the balance of where someone really notices your eyes or really accentuates the eyes. Not having the appropriate color of authentication on your feet will make your eyes look very dull, and the white of your eyes will look extremely gray. So it's the whole balance, and it's only when it's applied and you actually try it, at least once, you start to become so aware, because the reaction is not subtle. This is very specific of how this works on each person.
So Pierre, I gotta ask you this. So I wear this vest, okay, and I probably have like 10 of them.
Yes.
And Jamie always gives me a hard time not to wear it.
It's terrible.
Not to wear it.
It's terrible. You don't need that vest.
So it's, you know,
I've been waiting
is
for
a vest
4
in or out?
years for you to take it out. You need to take that off. It's horrible.
Pierre, he wants you.
Well, thank you for your feedback, Jamie. But I really go by how it makes me feel, and I like vests.
It's working. It's where, you know, it's working from here. Definitely. I mean, a vest is a vest. And again, you know, color is one thing, but then it goes a little further, right? We do look at proportion, texture, and lines, right? Which is the other three elements that really are important to a whole look. And so how to stay in harmony is really effective.
So why the wrist and the eye? How exactly does that work? How do you analyze the inside of the wrist and the eye to come up with the authentication?
So what we do, by taking a photo, we can blow it up. And we started with the Science of Hunter Bee system that really analyzed the exact amount of yellow, green, and blue by number specifically into one's skin tone. The wrist is the most accurate area of our body that we can really see the tones ideally, and the eye color based on the pigmentation of the eye and the series of how it's combined with all the pigments of color in the eye, sets itself to a very specific tone where whenever these colors are applied in the close to the eye, for example, eyeshadow. I mean, what really makes the eyes stand out, what are responsible for the accents, are, like I said, is what you wear on your feet, because that is what really pops and balances your eye color. Accents do two things. They are responsible for, number one, enhancing your eye color, balancing the eye color, making the white of your eye look whiter, and number two, it balances your silhouette. So what I mean by balancing your silhouette, your core pieces are your larger pieces of clothing, which you get your 16 shades, and the accents are your, for example, are your purses, your belts, your shoes. Someone who wears a purse in their core color will look whiter than wearing their accent colors, because the way the eye works it, a core color is reflective of the skin. So the brain registers it as subconsciously as the shape of the body, and therefore it's important to hold a bag or a purse that is representative of enhancing your eye color. So the balance subconsciously of the eye just is balanced to your eyes as well as your silhouette, and it's very distinctive. A purse in your core color, for someone, becomes part of your silhouette, so therefore it makes you look whiter. So just another little example of how the whole system works.
How do we get men to wear more color?
It's simple. Once they're authenticated, they understand the emotional values of their colors, what they mean, and they're actually they immediately wear their shirt colors and their suit colors as well in a harmony, in accordance to the colors that I've recommended. And I have people from all over the world, from Argentina, I have people right now from Switzerland who are sending me their photos and saying, look, Pierre, what do you think of my, I just got this new job, I've got this pale yellow because I'm creative field that I'm working and I want to be optimistic and creative, and I have this, I have more of a combination of tie that's indicative of the story of what I'm sending, and they feel so good. And they're getting their message across. For example, their message across. When you're wearing your authenticated colors, this is what you'll notice. When you speak to an audience, or just anybody in general, you will keep their attention for a much longer period of time. You feel that. You feel they're not looking at you in places where you don't want you to look at. You've got their attention. They're looking at you right in your soul. They're looking at you right where you want them to look at you. That is something you can't deny. It's right there, and you associate with that so distinctively. And then the airs as well of, so wearing the colors that look best on you is one thing, but then wearing them according to the emotional values that they hold, there's your story of the day that you put together. Mm-hmm. And how it works as well is the more of the actual color you have on of the emotional value, the more of the story you carry. So if you have, I always say sometimes for women, again, a lot of people are afraid of red, like you, Steve. But like I said, it's important that they wear red. So I often, would recommend, if they're for their social aspect, to just have a little purse that's red in your right accent color, a small one. Just have a little bit more fun. So it's by the amount of color you wear, you're not sort of screaming it. Like I'm screaming it tonight. I've got it all over the core. But if I had it on the smaller scale, it reduces the message, and then it would pick up more of the communication that I have with the blue if there was more blue. And so that's basically how simple it works.
Now, the other question I have is that the texture makes a difference too, in terms of I've got a alpaca sweater on, which is a softer feel for me, and my sense is that if I were in a presentation where I was facilitating something, that would be different than if it was a smooth or a different cut or firmness, that the softness of it reflects something other than something that's a more firm material.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So when you wear something more cashmere, it adds, it can have a little bit of heft to a person, but it's definitely, again, the texture of how you combine other pieces with a more of a softer, woolly type fabric. Also, like you said, is different from a corporate identity. So the lines are softer. When you wear something more tailored, that's more corporate, then again, it's a stronger line, which creates more of an angular look to a person. So it's more strength, a little stronger.
Right, more striking.
Yeah.
So help me understand something, Pierre, because I'm still, I'm still feeling.
Still moving towards red. Still moving towards red.
I'm not feeling completely clear. So the fact that everybody that we come into contact with, that they all have their own way of translating the colors that we're presenting to them. They have their own stories. Even you said this like earlier in the show. Is whatever we pick up also on the way, on our journey, we pick up stories about what colors mean. I certainly have. Like I have, people have trained me what some of these colors mean. So since we have no control over that in how people see us, and everybody will have a different story about red and blue and yellow, and it will make them feel different. How does that work, since we can't really control that?
Well, you didn't have control until now. Now you do. Now you have full control. I'm just there. I'm just a click away from sending you all of your authenticated colors with all of their emotional values. So now you're in the knowing. You'll know, and you'll still choose to wear anything you want. But as you wear them, you will recognize that the emotional value that each color holds actually is very indicative of the kind of response that you get from your audience and and the people that you surround yourself with.
So it's
So you're saying
universal,
that,
Steve.
so you're saying that if someone does this, meaning that if I authenticate my colors based on my eye
Yes.
and my skin color,
Yes.
I'm actually going to broadcast something different. I'm just trying to understand. I'm going to be broadcasting something different than I'm broadcasting now, and that since this is a science and it works the same way, kind of for everybody. So people will consciously and unconsciously will receive this broadcast. Is that accurate?
Yeah, but it's going to be voluntarily. So what you'll be wearing is the color that emotionally applies to your purpose of your day. For example, if you want to be sort of like right now, you've got blue, it's communication, which is amazing, which is intelligent, which is great for you. You've got a dark vest on. It's, you're very well balanced. There's nothing distracting me when I'm looking at you. I mean, Rosie doesn't like your vest, but I don't find it like distracting, right? So I'm still focused when I'm watching you here. So that's a good sign. But again, when you're if you're in a position where you want to be enthusiastic and really a little bit high energy, you're not going to wear greens because greens are very restful and harmonious. So if you want to kick up a little bit of energy, the green will kind of just give the feeling of restfulness and harmony, right? So it's not going to be sort of helping you kick up.
I don't even own anything green.
Okay. And so that's an example, right? So like if you do the same thing with purples. Purples are very spiritual and regal. So
I love purple. That's my second favorite color.
Spiritual and regal. So you're definitely, opening yourself up to nice spirituality as well as being regal. Those are the emotional values that you get with your purples. So
And you actually have worn a lot of purple, Steve. It looks fantastic on you.
Yeah, I do. I love purple.
Yeah, it looks
I own
really good on you.
many purple shirts, and actually
And ties, too.
this frame is purple.
Yeah.
And for example, Steve wears is very opinionated, and he sometimes says some very strong some opinions. But so the purple is perfect for him. Therefore, so a strong personality, very strong. So that the spirituality part of it and the regalness is just perfect for him. You see?
Okay, let's talk about Linda. Linda is being quiet over there, and she's wearing. What are you wearing? White?
No, it's pale pink. I'm
okay.
actually sweating because it feels like I'm in a sauna. It's very hot in Australia, and I took my jacket off while we were waiting to come on the show, so I apologize.
I'm jealous.
I didn't want to leave.
It's very cold in Denver.
I'm jealous.
Oh.
We're -10 here.
But
-10, wow.
I had the pleasure of working with Pierre in America. When I was there, he was at the same convention. And he just did some subtle changes to some things, and he taught me, like he was talking about with the handbag. The handbag I had was a very expensive handbag, however, it was the same color or similar color to the base of the dress and my skin. And he just said, when you wear that, how much wider we look, because, as he said, the people look at the whole picture. And we also went, and I was wearing earrings, and he changed the earrings. And the minute I came home to Australia, I bought what he suggested immediately. And because then the earring, which I've hidden with the microphone, with the ears, but the earring reflects then the white of your eyes, and so all of a sudden my eyes were just sparkling. So what I've learned years ago is that when I go to speak, I know exactly what I need to wear so that people don't say, that's a nice jacket, that's a nice belt, because then they're focused on what you're wearing rather than the comment we're looking for is, you look great. And when you look great, there's no further need for the person to then focus on one particular aspect of what we're wearing because our color may be wrong. What they're now doing is listening to what I have to say, and that is important. So, for example, when I first started this, I bought this I heard that yellow was connected to life force and intellect. So I was doing this massive speech in front of 2,500 people, and I searched everywhere for this yellow jacket. Anyway, the first thing the image consultant out here took off me was the yellow jacket. Because she said, what do people say? I said, I love jackets. I love lots of different colors. She said, what do people say when you wear that jacket? They said they love the jacket. She said, that's exactly right. They love the jacket, but they're not listening to what you have to say. Everything's focused on that jacket. So I got rid of this brand new jacket, and since have gone for those reds that Pierre was saying, if I'm looking for power, or the beautiful corals, or the and this is a pale coral, so it's something that I wore underneath the coral jacket I had on half an hour ago. So it's about us leaving, like Pierre said, when he made just some subtle changes because of the wrist photo he took, and he made some subtle changes to my eyes, suggested slightly different hair color, the outfits I were wearing he was quite impressed with, but the subtle changes of the earring, etc., just those changes, I could see the difference immediately, absolutely immediately. And the image consultant here said the day you get on a plane and a Qantas and an air steward says you look great, or you go to a function and they say you look great, will be the day you've absolutely got your color sorted.
Wow,
And
that's great.
I want to see your earrings. Let's see your earrings.
Yeah, really?
Oh, they hurt under here, so
Sure, earrings. Yeah, if they're
Just for a second. Just for a second.
they're nice.
We're undressing our
They're
cast members.
zirconians.
Okay.
You're not going to show us, is that right? You're not going to show us.
Yeah, we can
I
see.
can get them for you. I
Get
took them out
them,
because
Linda.
the
you took them out.
are
Okay,
squashing
I'm
them.
sorry. Okay,
So-
I get it.
Very good, very good. But it does make quite a difference for you, Linda. It's because where a lot of times people are, they can wear gold and silver, depending. A lot of times the undertone of the skin is cool, but the eyes are warm. So therefore, this lens for wearing jewelry in different way as well, and it's very effective. And like I said, this whole system is not subtle, because then it wouldn't have much value. But what matters is understanding the, for example, it's the being aware of which purples are best. Either are they the very muted purples, or are they the bright deep purples, or are they lavenders? This is all what makes a huge difference. And just knowing in a very simple way how to just combine it, it saves you, number one, so much money. It makes your life easy. And I think, aren't we all about simplifying our lives, and to do it in a way where there's understanding, where you become aware? It's very empowering. And healing as well.
It's wonderful.
Yeah, I remember going into a shop because I was going to a function, and I remember looking for this. I saw this beautiful pale blue, the most beautiful pale blue you could imagine. Anyway, I put this dress on, and then they opened the curtains, and we looked in the mirror, and I just burst into tears. And I said to the lady, "I actually look beautiful." It was that color that just resonated with everything about my being. And I knew then that was a color that I needed to wear. And so I bought a suit in it, and when I was in Jamaica, every time I wore that suit, people commented, "Boy, you look great." Like, that's all you want, is if they feel that you look great, then now they want to listen to you because you have good information and you look good.
Yes.
And one
They
thing
like
you'll
looking
notice
into it.
is definitely once you become, comfortable with your tones, there's something that happens that you become so aware of, and when you start having conversation with others that are not authenticated, you'll notice it immediately, because it's actually distracting, and you actually you want to say something, but you don't know how, but you recognize also how much easier it is to to interact with someone that is authenticated. It's so much easier to communicate with them. It's so much easier to be around them. It's so much easier to just feel more complete. And this is when I've noticed that people have been, expressing that to me all the time. Is saying, you know what? Wow, this was not right. I don't know what it is, but this was not right at all. It's it's like I said, it's about making awareness, and my satisfaction is today people can become the expert themselves. Why? After they've become authenticated, and because there's a point of reference that you can take it from, and you can really see the difference. So it's very exciting. It's been a real pleasure for me.
It is very exciting, and it's also very calming because you have a knowing of what really suits you now. So if, for example, I did a health talk 2 nights ago, if you feel good when you leave home and all you want to do is concentrate on the message, that's all you have to do, because the rest is sorted.
Yeah.
No, so it's super, because we take examples like we look at the celebrities as well. We take Jennifer Aniston. She's always in pale blue. That's all Serenity. Her color that she always wears gives us that sense of thought of her, but again, it's reflected by color. We take J-Lo, Jennifer Lopez. She's always in her authenticated colors. So again, we remember the freshness of her face. It always looks fresh. It always looks great. Color is actually impacting her to do this. We think of Helen DeGeneres. Helen, when we always see her eyes are so bright. So one of the main things that are really allowing us to see her eyes the way they are is always the color of her shoes that she wears. They're always red, they're blue, they're black, and those very strong colors help just bring out the brilliance of her eyes while balancing her silhouette at the same time. So those are...
So how long does the process take? We send it to you, and then how quickly do we get the analysis back?
You will get the analysis back usually within 2 days, 2 to 3 days.
Wow, that's so quick.
It's quick, yes. I'm in Florida tomorrow. I'm doing a 2-day seminar in Sarasota, Florida, for the Millionaire Author with Peggy McCall. And so anyone who sends me their authentication, I'll send you a little reply back, and we'll have someone tell you exactly when you'll be getting your authentication. I'm offering a little complimentary, actually, authentication also that gives you your 2 best colors, your 2 worst colors, and also it's a little sample that people can get a little sense of how it works.
Okay, perfect. I'm in.
Good.
I'm in.
Yeah, me too. So I own only 2 colors of shoes, black and brown. However, I do own 1 pair of blue shoes. So what else is? I can't even think of anything else that's possible. What else is possible?
Well, for you, Steve, you'll notice you can't wear black and brown shoes simultaneously. I mean, I don't mean 1 on each foot, but I mean you're
okay. I can do that.
Okay. You're either going to good, ideally with black shoes or brown shoes. And now that I've mentioned this, just go in the mirror and look at your eyes with a pair of black shoes, and look at your eyes in silhouette with a pair of brown shoes, and the difference you'll see which one is best for you.
Okay. And let us know, Steve. Okay.
Huh?
You let us know. Okay.
Oh, sure.
After you do that.
Right away.
Pierre, I was actually told to wear skin-colored shoes because it allows, being a shorter person, it allows you to look taller.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your and so I got rid of all my, didn't get rid of them, but yeah, I don't hold on to much stuff, so I just let them go, and I just went and bought immediately these skin color type shoes with a heel on, so that because then people, the lady actually said to me that means that your legs look taller and you look taller, and people respond to height.
Yes, well, that will all
So I
change.
find it interesting.
That will all change if you wear dark stockings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes, it would.
And it's reversed, right? So what
Right.
happens is, yes, so if you've got dark stockings, you're going to want to have a dark shoe then to also elongate that. So what we're thinking here is the line. So what you don't want to break the line. So we're still true to your authenticated colors with their choices of dark, their choices of light, but we want an elongated line without breaking the line. So it's that's where we talk about proportions and lines and texture that makes the difference.
Well,
I get
Steve,
that.
I think we should have another show after we all have been authenticated, and we should come back and reveal and wear the colors that are our authenticated selves. And I'm really hoping I will be back in
Like,
black,
do
because
like
if not, I will be devastated.
Before and after. Before and after Pierre.
Okay, fabulous. I'm game for that. I think that's going to be very exciting. I think it would be really, really fascinating, and I really look forward to that second show.
Okay.
And get people's responses, as we go out into the world.
Yeah.
Pay attention to how people are responding to us differently.
Yes,
Right.
and the email. Anyways, would you like the email that you send it to? It's
Everybody has your email. Is that okay?
you can send that, yes, or you can send it at authenticateme@Lalonde Color DNA.
Okay.
Authenticate me at Lalonde
Color DNA.
Color DNA. Great.
Correct.
Thank you so much. This has been very interesting.
All right.
Yeah.
It's been
Well,
a pleasure with you.
I don't know about you guys, but I had a lot of fun, and I
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't sure once I saw his jacket, but then I said, well, I just need to kind of cool down, and I know he's not a communist, so I don't have to worry about him. But that's an old story, and I'm no longer hanging on to it. So, red is fine. It's just not something that I'm interested in wearing, but it looks absolutely fantastic on you. And you know what they say about women in red, right?
Well, red means two things as well. When you don't like red, I thought you were kidding, but when you don't like red, you either
I said I don't like to wear it.
Okay.
I didn't say I didn't like red, because I like women in red, and I like, I know that red is also associated a lot with love, and I like love.
Cool. Beautiful. Beautiful. We'll get some red on you at some point. You'll see. Even if it's glasses.
That would be great. That would be awesome. Yeah. That
What
would be
about you
We're gonna
getting
get
a pair of earrings?
Yes.
Great.
Yeah, I would love some red earrings. That would be wonderful. All right, so Pierre, you've been absolutely fantastic. I really enjoyed this conscious hour with you. I'm sure the cast feels the same way. I think we learned a lot, and we also, I think, are educating the public out there about color. And again, just a reminder, the theme of the show was this evening, how to project an image of trust. And
Correct.
What's more important these days than trust, right?
Correct.
So thank you very much for being who you are.
Thank you.
Here,
Yeah.
It was fantastic. And thank you for the cast for being so engaging, and the whole show just really flew for me. And for everybody else out there, if you keep watching this show on YouTube, as well as all the other shows that we've done, and we have thousands of them, the more you watch them, the more they get up to the top 10 list every month, and we publish the top 10 at the end of the month, each and every month. And then when they get to the top 10, they get to have the possibility of going to public television, and pretty soon we'll be announcing a new network that we're going to be associated with. So keep tuning in, keep coming to Conscious Evolution Media. Thank you very much for everybody for being here, and I love you all. We'll see you next week, same place, same time. Thanks,
Bye.
Linda.
Love you too.
Thank
Great
you.
to see
Thanks, you guys.
Good night.
Thank you.
Thanks, Pierre.
You're
Bonne
welcome.
nuit. Bonne nuit.
Bonne nuit. Ciao, ciao. Good night.
Bonjour.
Ciao, ciao.
Thank you.